What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of 30 and 30, and today we're going to talk about why fat loss is easy. No, this is not a clickbait video. I'm talking about why fat loss is essentially easy. When it comes down to it, a lot is calories in versus calories out. So our food that we're putting in our body to what our energy expenditure is, working out, NEAT, all that kind of stuff, all adds up. What is hard about fat loss is consistency. And you know, this is coming from someone who is a professional bodybuilder who can restrict themselves for 50 odd weeks at a time and not go off track. Yes, the whole method of losing fat is essentially easy, but what comes down to it, the execution is very hard. So, you know, when we are talking about fat loss, you know, calories in versus calories out, it's essentially a math equation. You know, we learn how to add and subtract in first grade, kindergarten. But what is really hard and what a lot of people struggle with is consistency. So I'm going to use a couple examples here of people who are close to me that have tried to lose weight in the past, and why they are succeeding now. The first one is myself. You know, I am very consistent when it comes to tracking my macronutrients, and I've talked about that. I track it year round. I have no problem being consistent when it comes down to executing a plan, especially for contest prep. I will use my dad up next as an example. In the past, he's struggled with losing weight when he's tried. He's tried a couple of times up until this past year. And he's really succeeded in losing the weight because he has kept at it for months on end and being consistent. A couple of guys that he works with, they talk about losing weight, and he shows up to work, and you know, the next thing is they're eating the box of donuts that somebody brought in, and that's not necessarily being consistent with their diet. And he asks them like, oh, you know, I thought you guys were trying to drop some weight, and they're like, oh yeah, as they're eating a donut, because it is very hard to turn away food when it's put in front of us. And this is what a lot of people struggle with, is they are good with, let's say like Monday through Friday. I feel like a lot of people, this is, or even at the beginning of the year here, with January being a lot of resolutioners or people trying to start off, their fitness journeys again. They are good for the month of January, or they're good Monday through Friday, and then the weekend comes along, or little Johnny's got a birthday, or Betty Sue's got, her best friend's wedding or something, and they go off plan, and then they get back on during the week, and then they go off plan on the weekend again. So it's that consistency. If you're looking to make legitimate changes, you can't just be good for 66% of the time. In my school, 66% was an F. So if you want to go and try to make positive changes, you have to shoot for a high level of consistency. I'm not saying that you have to be perfect, because once again, like, I'll use my dad as an example. He tells me I roughly tracked today, or I just kind of ate whatever I wanted, but those days are few and far between. He's lost damn near like 16, 17 pounds since September when he started, because of his sheer consistency to stay on track. It's the people who go hard at it for like the first 3 months of January, and they might lose some weight, but then when next January rolls around, they're right back to where they were, or they're even worse off than before. So if you can be consistent for months on end in a high percentage of consistency of execution, that's when you're going to see the results. If someone, let's talk even about training for a half a second, to put things into perspective again. If you train, 1 day a week, or, for a period of time, like, that's not the consistency that you want. You want to train at least 3-4 times a week to see some kind of results, and that's going to lead to muscle gain. If you're on your diet every single day of the week, or even 6 days one week, 7 days the next week, 7 days the next week, 6 days the next week, that's what's going to lead to the overall progress that you're looking for. So yes, fat loss is easy. It's a consistency that a lot of people struggle with. Now, why do people struggle with consistency? It might be poor planning. It might be lack of motivation. When it comes down to it, with losing weight, and yes, this might be driven more towards like non-competitors or just like general fat loss, but you have to find a reason why you want to drop weight. They can't just be I want to weigh less. It could be for health reasons. It could be because you just want to be around for your family more. Whatever the reason is, you have to decide internally. I'm not going to here motivate you by telling you that fat loss is easy, because I'm telling you essentially, yes, the method to lose fat is easy, but the execution and the consistency is very tough. So when it comes down to it, guys, we just have to work on our adherence. We have to work on our consistency, and that is going to lead to the sustained fat loss that a lot of people are looking for. So yes, fat loss is easy, but the consistency is not, so we have to find out our reason why. So that's it for this episode of 30 and 30. Tune in tomorrow for another video. I'll see you then.